On Amazon, graphics and visuals are the key ingredients to your conversions. They say pictures worth 1,000 words, and that is really true on Amazon. The best way to really make your product pop and stand out on Amazon is to have a really tight A+ content that can educate, impress, and alleviate customers' concerns. All this combined can increase your conversions and brand equity. In the following video, I will detail 5 ways to increase sales and conversions using A+ content. So if you want to learn how to create some awesome converting A+ content that connects to your audience for your Amazon listing, stay tuned. I'm Rick Wong, an Amazon seller and founder of SellerMetrics, an Amazon marketing agency. If you are interested in content such as this one, where we talk about the latest Amazon FBA news, tips, and hacks, I invite you to subscribe. Okay, so first of all, what's A+ content? A+ content is basically, if you actually go to your product descriptions. So for example, I have like a one listing, for example, that has no A+ content, but has like a product description. So what the A+ content does is basically it replaces your product description with a whole bunch of visual assets. This is, I'm comparing it's like a listing with A+ content versus one that doesn't. So the one that doesn't looks like this, and the one that has it looks like this, right? You will also have like the product description, but your A+ content will sit on top of your product description. So I guess I wouldn't say that it's replace your product description, but basically it would make sure that your A+ content will be the main focus other than your product description. So if you actually look at this just on like a visual basis of the listing, what's better, right? So if I scroll down and look at this versus just looking at this, I don't think you need to guess which listing is much more desirable. So I would say like this one, show me a lot of extra information, some branding information, some unique selling points, and I see some lifestyle photos. So again, this is not the best example of A+ content, but basically this is what A+ content is. And then before we go further, A+ content, you do need to be brand registered. So if you haven't actually registered for your brand, go to brandregistry.com. So that would be like this this link right here. And just keep in mind that you would need to have your trademark or logo registered under a trademark governing agency such as USPTO in the US to basically go through this process. Keep in mind for USPTO, my experience has been around like 6 to 12 months for actual trademark or brand logo to be approved. So please plan ahead if you're actually starting from no trademark or no logo that is registered. Okay, so let's look at how you actually create A+ content, right? So to create an A+ content, you would just toggle over to your nav bar. Go to the advertising part of your module and then click on A+ content. Once you're in A+ content screen, it'll take you to this. And then to create a new A+ content, you will click on this big button right here. And then I have 2 options right now in my account. So that would be brand story and basics. So we're actually going to go over the basics because there's actually another one called premium A+ content, in which I don't have access to for this particular account. Maybe for the next video, I could demonstrate the A+ premium version of the A+ content. So if you actually want to see that, please subscribe. Let's talk about the basics. Basically, the basics covers majority of the A+ content within Amazon right now. Okay, so once you actually click into the A+ content, you're afforded to add up to 7 modules. So what are modules? So basically, modules are parts of the A+ content that you can add, and each of these modules have its unique formatting. So you can see there's like a comparison chart. There is basically modules with just the hero image with an overlay of text, and maybe like a grid of like 4 paragraphs with photos, basically 4 photos, and each part of the photos under it has text. So there's different formatting within these modules. You could add up to 7. The strange thing is, like it says, you can only add up to 5, but once you actually add all the modules out, you can actually add up to 7. So my opinion on that is that whenever you could, add the entire 7. Right? Unless it costs you more, or maybe you just really have like nothing good to write. The most important part from my experience is actually the messaging in your A+ content, right? I see a lot of A+ content out there that looks really nice visually, but doesn't really connect with the audience in the key points. And the 5 key points that I really like to see in the A+ content and the customer really like to see is as follows. Number 1, you want to educate and impress with your A+ content. So that means that talk about your unique selling point of a product, how the product is used. Number 2 is emotion. List a very nice lifestyle photo of your product in its natural use. Let the customer imagine how his life would be better with it. Branding. Tell your company's story, right? Form a tribe and humanize your brand. You could really do well with this on A+ content because there's so many modules that allows you to create customized images and also allow you to type out the origin of your brand. When did you start it? Why did you start it, right? Put some element to it. Number 4, concerns. What are some potential concerns with your product, right? Are there reoccurring negative reviews of the product, or is there any in the FAQ section, is there reoccurring questions about your product? So you can actually list out all these in your A+ content to make sure that the audience know right away that, okay, your product does this, does that, but does not do this. And, maybe it's like there's some concerns about the material of the product. You can alleviate the concerns by saying that it's this material, it's not supposed to be used this way, or basically this product is this and should not be used like this. That's why some of the negative reviews happens. So you could actually prevent a lot of these negative reviews by telling how the product is properly used. And lastly, the 5th way that you could use A+ content in your communication and your messaging is social proof and trust. So any badges, any awards that you won for the product will add additional trust factor for your product and will increase conversion. Right, so let's go through some examples. Educate and impress. So I think I really like this particular this listing right here with this baby diaper bag. Although the visuals are, I don't think it's the best for this EBC content. I mean, A+ content. EBC is what it's used to be called. But I really like the key features here that details a lot of the unique selling points and how you could actually use it. So as a recent parent myself, I'm looking at this, yeah, I kind of do need a lot of pockets, right? Because there's so many miscellaneous accessories that you bring with you when you actually take the baby out. Bottles, diapers, scissors for the food, etc. And then yeah, stroller hooks. A very good unique selling point for a product. You hook onto the baby stroller and you don't really have to hold onto it. Insulated pockets, which is good. Making sure that it keeps bottles warm, it keeps the snacks cool, and totally insulated between the main area of the actual backpack. So yeah, so these are ways that this particular listing could educate and kind of impress on some of the features of the product. And then another one that demonstrates good emotions, I would say like this one right here. If you actually go all the way down, so again, I was only scrolling through this for like 30 minutes and find like good EBC, but I'm pretty sure if you spend a bit longer, you'll probably find better ones out there. But this one I really like in terms of the emotions, right? Like in terms of eliciting their product to its actual natural environment and letting the customer imagine how they could actually use it. So this one right here, I just love it. The messaging is so simple, right? So their product is basically a minimalist trail runner shoe. So you can imagine that, it's used in the trails. It should be very light. It's very outdoorsy, it's natural. So you can see like this one right here, you can see like the people running and it's outdoors. And although you don't see the actual, clearly see the people using the actual product, but naturally you see this, you kind of know how your lifestyle is going to be with it, right? You'll be running in a trail in a very nice natural setting. So yeah, so you want to basically have a good image that elicits the emotion and let the customer knows how they are going to use the product. And then the third way you could message is branding. So talk about your company, right? Talk about how your company is formed, why you did it, form a tribe. Basically try to humanize your brand, right? And you could see the previous listing with Parker Baby. You see at the end, right? They have a picture of a family, right? It shows that it's a small business that the actual seller product is actually a parent to. Basically, it tells you why they did it. They did it for the kids, something that it could actually improve their own lives when they actually sold it. So ways that you could humanize the product is a great way for your A+ content. Humanizing your messaging is also a great use for your A+ content. And then number 4, concerns, right? So you could list out potential concerns or FAQ of your product. In terms of issues with your product or potential negative reviews that maybe you see a lot of reviews within your listing because of the way that potential customers are using the product, right? They're not using it the right way. So you can use your A+ content to basically message that out. So for this particular product is a travel adapter, right? And the first part of their A+ content is that it's not a voltage converter. So I'm guessing that a lot of negative reviews in the listing are saying that they're using it as a voltage converter, not a travel adapter. So I travel a lot. I know the difference between an adapter and a voltage converter, right? So this particular messaging basically alleviates a lot of questions and concerns for the customer, and can potentially eliminate a lot of negative reviews for the users that use the product in the wrong way. And speaking of negative reviews, my previous video we talked about how I use ChatGPT to do some analysis on my reviews, and gives you some really cool insight on your product to basically help you in terms of product development or maybe even listing optimization. So check out that video in the link below. And number 5, lastly, social proof. You could also use the A+ content to improve on your social proof. So an example for in terms of social proof, you could look at the listing here of this learning toy product, and you could go over to this second asset right here. You can see this particular A+ module. You can see all the badges, all the awards that it won, right? Family Choice Award, Preferred Choice Award, Mom Choice Award. So any type of social proof you could add for badge, maybe a previous review from influencers, add it in here. Show that you have social proof in your listing, that other people used it and had great success with it or happy with it. Make sure you add that in. Okay, so those are the 5 key messaging types that you can put into your A+ content to increase conversions. So let's before we end this video off, let's actually go through how you actually add an A+ content. So give you an idea how you could actually set this all up. So I'm at the going back to the A+ content creation page. So once you're in the create page, you're gonna give it a name. So I'll just say test 1. And then add modules. Again, you can add 7 modules. So the first module I like to add is probably the company logo. So you can actually add your logo and maybe put some lifestyle photos in the background from the logo. And then the second module, what I like to do in the second module is basically an overlay and a text. An overlay text on the actual image. So it could be one that elicit emotion, right? So the one that I talking about that elicit emotion would be here, right? Give the customer a good idea of what your product is about, how they can actually use it in their own lifestyle, how it can actually make their life better. And then the next part, I like to educate and impress, right? So the next part of the module I like to do is go over here. So I either like to use this one or this one right here, or this one, right? So this one you can list the key feature of the product. So each for this image, basically you could do a close-up of the actual product that does this and that. For example, in our baby bag example, so you can see this, that's how they use it, right? So what they could do better is that instead of showing you this very general picture right here, 10 functional pockets. So maybe what they can do is they could zoom in on these pockets and say these are 10 pockets in this particular baby bag. And then stroller hooks, maybe you could zoom in on the actual hooks onto the stroller. So I think that's ways that you could use the actual key features modules a bit better. The next part of the module that I like to use at this point, I think you could add additional social proof and trust. So additional social proof and trust, you could basically just use maybe just a standard image right here. So in the image, you could just add some badges. In the thing below, you could talk about, just basically reiterate your social proof. I won this award at this time. This product won this award this time. This product is reviewed by certain influencers, and this is the review. So you could actually maybe use this module for social proof and trust. Okay, so concerns. So basically concerns, the module, again, you could basically very similar to the features area. So I think you could use different, so this one right here might work. So you can list out what potential issues with their product. So this one would actually work too. You can list out here how your product should not be used, right? So in our example here, it should not be, it's an all-in-one travel adapter, not a converged converter. So what you can do here is that maybe, so you can see here, right? So what's it's compatible with, what's not compatible with, you could do it additionally in this module here, right? So you can see what is compatible, right? What is compatible, what is not compatible, right? And then you could use like some additional visual graphics to illustrate that. And then add the branded part. So the branded part, a lot of people like to use it on the top right under the company logo. Yeah, you could play around with different orders, right? And yeah, and then you could use like one of these like text overlay or the large image modules to kind of add some emotional lifestyle photo component to it. And then you could like, you know, move it up and down, you know, if you actually want to move it up right under the logo. Lastly, I think this one should be done for sure. The last module should be a comparison chart. And the comparison chart is great if you have different variations of your listings, or basically it could also show other products within your product catalog. For example, that baby diaper bag right here, you can show right here different variation of your product. So this particular thing does really well in terms of highlighting their other products. So you see, like, I think all these products is within the same brand. So this is what you can do, right? In your product comparison part, compare each and every single one of the variation, right? In terms of its uses, the size, the colors, etc. So basically use this part to do a comparison of your own products and basically highlight your entire portfolio. And yeah, so I think that's like the 7 modules. And another 2 important things about the A+ content is that number 1, each of these like text in the A+ content is indexed, right? So I think there's a lot of people out there saying that it's not indexed, but a lot of these like text right here are indexed. So it actually behooves you to add all your keywords inside these text boxes, right? I also have seen a lot of A+ content where the images itself is just images and no A+ content. So you're wasting a lot of quality space for potential improvement in SEO here. Another thing that I see is that you see like this particular dimension recommendation here. I do see a lot of images that are not very clear. So what you can do to make your image a bit more clear, right, is that these is the minimum dimensional requirements. What you can do is 2x the dimensional requirements, right? So let's just say this image requirement dimension for this particular module is 220 by 220. So you want to create like an image that is 440 by 440, right? This way your image will show up in higher resolution and show up much more crisp. So that's important because a lot of customers are coming through from mobile, right? And if the picture is not in high resolution, it will really show up poorly on the mobile device. So that's another tip in terms of improving the imagery for your A+ content. And also for SEO, every time you add an image, right, this particular area is also indexed as well. So any image keywords that you add with your photo, right, you could lace in like 100 characters worth of keywords here, basically just describing the image. Spend the time to fill out all the informations, increase conversion, increase your SEO using your A+ content. And lastly, you know, once you finish with this template, you could select which particular ASIN you want to apply this A+ content to. It could be for a specific child ASIN, or it could be on a parent ASIN, right? And its corresponding child ASIN. Maybe you make this one template for the entire parent and child relationship, or maybe you make one just for the child. And once you publish it, so you go to next and apply. So let's go look at my previous ones right here. So you can see like my product, my A+ content. You can see how it looks in desktop and mobile. So make sure that you preview through both of it to see how it looks, right? So maybe it's the actual design does not look good for mobile, and maybe you want to change some of like the dimensions of some of the image. So definitely you want to look into both, and then once you're happy with it, apply it into your product listing. To end this off, A+ content is a very important part of the Amazon listing optimization process that can really set your product apart from the heavy competition in Amazon. It gives you the ability to answer some of your audience questions, concerns, even before they are raised, and that in turn will have the unquestionable ability to improve your conversions. And also, by using the 5 message types that I detailed for your A+ content, I hope it gives you a clear roadmap in terms of how to create high converting A+ content. Anyways, I hope that you really enjoyed this video, and if you are an Amazon seller and looking to grow your business via Amazon PPC, I suggest you to schedule a call with me to see how we could actually work together in the link below. So until the next video drop, happy selling.